Now, Israeli airstrikes killed at least 100 Palestinians across the Gaza Strip, including a strike in the north on a school serving as a shelter for displaced people.
Well, it killed at least 31 citizens. Now, the Palestinian medical authorities said that the bodies of 14 children and 5 women were recovered from Dar al-Arqam school.
In the Al-Tafa neighborhood of Gaza City, and the death toll could still rise because some of over 100 wounded had critical injuries.
Well, more than 30 other Gaza residents were killed in strikes on homes in a nearby neighborhood of Shijaya.
Now, the Israeli military said it struck a Hamas command and control center in the area, which had been used by the militants to plan and execute attacks against Israeli civilians and the IDF troops. The IDF said it was unable to confirm whether the strike had hit the school. However, the military claimed 12 senior members of Hamas had been killed since Israeli troops resumed fighting in Gaza.
Since the return to fighting in the Gaza Strip, we have attacked more than 600 terror targets throughout Gaza. We have eliminated more than 250 terrorists, including 12 senior members of the Hamas terrorist organization and in its government branch. All of them are terrorists. All of them took part in the October 7th massacre.
The Israeli military also revised death toll from 2023 attack on the Nova Music Festival, saying that the Hamas militants killed 378 people during their attack on October 7th.
In other developments, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights said that the death of 15 medics and humanitarian workers in Gaza after shots were fired at their ambulances raises further concerns of war crimes by the Israeli army.
I'm appalled by the recent killings of 15 medical personnel and humanitarian aid workers, which raise further concerns over the commission of war crimes by the Israeli military. There must be an independent, prompt and thorough investigation into the killings, and those responsible for any violation of international law must be held to account.
Amid an expansion of Israeli military offensive in Gaza, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians remain at risk of severe hunger and malnutrition. As the UN Food Programme said, it had not been able to bring new supplies into Gaza for more than 3 weeks.
Now in Tel Aviv, Israeli protesters clashed with the police during an anti-government demonstration outside the headquarters of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party.
The demonstration was attended by various groups, including relatives of hostages held by Hamas. Some protesters marched from the Hungarian embassy in Tel Aviv, denouncing Netanyahu's state visit to the European country.
It said that it will quit the International Criminal Court after Prime Minister Viktor Orban hosted Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu, whom the tribunal has accused of war crimes in Gaza. This is Israeli leader's first trip to Europe since 2023.
Furthermore, the U.S. Senate overwhelmingly rejected a bid to block $8.8 billion in arms sale to Israel over the human rights crisis in Gaza. The Senate voted 82-15 and 83-15 to reject 2 resolutions of disapproval over sales of massive bombs and other offensive military equipment. The resolutions were offered by Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, an independent who caucuses with Democrats.
And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from the UN headquarters in New York. Listen to this.
The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting on the escalating situation in Gaza on Thursday. Briefers condemned renewed military operations that resulted in the killing of 50,000 Palestinians and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of others. Many countries also expressed outrage at recent attacks against aid workers, calling for an independent investigation into the matter. Israel, for its part, defended its actions as being necessary to dismantle Hamas's infrastructure and blamed the humanitarian crisis in Gaza on Hamas's failure to extend the ceasefire and release the hostages. Council members called for an immediate truce, humanitarian access to those who need it the most, and warned against any attempt to alter Gaza's border, stressing on the urgency of preserving the two-state solution. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.